Friends, Naji here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So we have been discussing on LandGraph and the MCP servers, and in this video we are working on a new use case, that is to compare the price of a product. Okay, so this is the high level workflow that we are planning to do, or high level maybe we can say architecture. I cannot say it as a fully architecture, but for the sake of discussion I can say this is the high level architecture that we are going to follow. So here we can see that we have two MCP servers, that is the Amazon MCP server and the Flipkart MCP server, and we have an agent and we have a user. Okay, so what happened is that we are asking for a comparison of the price of a product, okay, between Amazon and MCP. So we have the agent. So what agent does is, agent will communicate with get the price of that particular product from Amazon, and it also will get the price from the Flipkart, and it will compare it and the result sent back to the user. Okay, so we'll see how can we implement this. So before going to that, I want to introduce one tool that is called the SerpAPI. Okay, so the SerpAPI is a tool that is used for the search, which will help us to search. So we'll be using the SerpAPI to search from the Amazon and also search from the what we call the Flipkart API. So this is 100 searches are free. Okay, so this is very simple. You guys can log into like serpapi.com using your Gmail ID as I did, and you will get the API key, and we can use this API key in our project. So ensure that you create your own API key. I'm going to regenerate my or revoke my API key after this video. Okay, then let me go back to the Visual Studio Code. So here we can see the requirement text file, and I have added LangChain community or LangChain community package is also added. Oh, this is also needed for this particular project. Okay, so I think we can start working on that, and for that I have created a amazon.py file. So here first we can create a Amazon MCP server. Okay, so for that we need to import the SerpAPI. Okay, then we can import the fast MCP server also. For that, what I can do, I can import from mcp.server fast MCP. I can import the fast MCP. Okay, now I can import the OS, and I can set os.environ. I can set the SerpAPI key. SerpAPI key can be set here. I think SerpAPI API key. Let me ensure that spelling is correct. Usually I make the mistake. Yeah, SerpAPI API key. Okay, now let me copy that from the website. So this is the one. So let me copy it and let me paste it here. Okay, I think extra keys added here. Okay, let me say also I can do a .env. We can do a load env. This will help us to load the environment variable, that is the OpenAI key should be loaded by this command. Okay, so our API key is there, OpenAI API key is there in the .env file. So we have with the basic import. Now we can create the MCP server. So this is my MCP server. I can create a fast MCP server. This is the Amazon MCP server I'm going to use, and I can specify my port number here. So my port will be, I can say 8082. Okay, now just have the mcp.tool. Here I can define search Amazon. I can say here I will get a product. The product will be string. So this also will return a string. Okay, and here I can add doc string here. Here I can say searches Amazon for a product and return the result. Okay, now we can create a search API. Search API wrapper will be created, and I'm going to customize the query here. Okay, in the query, what I'm going to say, I'm going to specify the site, that is the Amazon .in is I'm going to use. Then my product will be product. Okay, so the query is set. So here we will be saying, okay, you go and search the particular product in the Amazon.in. Now I can return search.run and I can pass the query. Okay, so similar way, now let me add the main also. Here I can add name equal to can mention the main. Okay, here I can mention mcp.run. I'm going to make the transport as streamable HTTP is there. Okay, now we are good. Okay, now similar way we are going to create on the Flipkart.py. Let me paste it here. Same SerpAPI, instead of Amazon I'm going to say Flipkart, and I can mention 8081 here. Instead of search Amazon I'm just making Flipkart. Here search it in Flipkart, and instead of site Amazon I can say Flipkart maybe. Flipkart.com. Okay, then I am just running this, and the same way we are doing this. I believe this should work fine. Okay, now once this is done, okay, so we have the two MCP servers are there. Now we are going to create a client.py. Okay, so maybe main.py. So in our last video we have already discussed this. Okay, so this is our main.py. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy and paste from here. Okay, so if anybody is new, I will explain that here, like main.py. Okay, and what we are going to do here, so here we can see a FastAPI. Okay, so on the startup we are going to create a multi MCP client. Okay, then we are going to call the chat will trigger the client and it will return the data. Okay, for that we will be making some changes, so let me clean this up little bit. Okay, here instead of this math and all those things, we will be adding the Amazon and the Flipkart thing. So here I am adding Amazon. Okay, here I can mention the URL. URL will be HTTP. Here I can say localhost. The Amazon will be 8082/MCP/. Okay, so this is what we are going to use. And here next we can mention the transport, which is streamable HTTP. Similar way I can mention the Flipkart. Here also the same way we can mention the URL HTTP. I can mention the localhost 8081, I believe. Here this will be MCP/. Okay, now the transport, this will be streamable HTTP. So we are ready with our MCP client. Here we can see the tools will be there, and we have the agent. Now, okay, so here we have created the agent, and here we can see the tools. So once the tool is created, what we need to do, we need to trigger this agent dot invoke. Okay, so the agent dot invoke can be triggered. So let me write it here. I can say response, which is equal to agent, you can say await agent dot a invoke. All right, here I can specifically say about the user and the details. Okay, role. Okay, so let me check the code. Okay, so actually this is not needed here. Okay, so let me remove this part. Okay, we only need to initialize the tools and the agent. Okay, since I copy pasted, I made a mistake here. Okay, so we are good. So let me say it again. Okay, so here only thing that we need to change, we have changed is we have added the MCP server and the MCP client is added. Okay, and here we have added the Amazon, and here we have added the Flipkart, and we initialize the tools and the agent. Okay, now coming back here, we have the chat, and this is the chat that we are going to trigger from the streamlit.py. Then this will trigger the agent, and we will get the response back. Okay, so we'll see how this works. So before that, let me copy one more thing. So let me copy from here, let me copy the app.py also. Okay, so I'm bringing everything here in this product.py. So this is app.py. So this is the Streamlit application in which we will be creating the interface. So here we can see the FastAPI URL that we are going to communicate, that is the 8080 and /chat. So this will trigger this particular chat. Okay, so now we can start the server and everything one by one. So let me clear this. Okay, now first I can run python amazon.py. Okay, spelling is wrong. This is amazon.py. So let me run this. Okay, so this is working fine in the 8080 port, 8082 port. So this is good. Now let me add another console here. Let me go to the prod CMP. Here also I can add python flipkart.py. Okay, let me switch to the env. So here the problem with let me see which env I have used here. Okay, I understood. So let me activate dot path 1 test env. Okay, I'm just switching my environment here. Now let me run this. Okay, so here we can see my second server is also running. Okay, now next step is, okay, I'm going to run my FastAPI application. For that also I'm going to the prod MCP server. Let me activate my environment, correct environment. Okay, so that is also there. Now I can do the uvcon main app. I can set the port as, I believe that is 8080. Let me check the app.py. It's a 8080. Should be hyphen port 8080. Okay, so here we can see the REST endpoint is also, or the fast MCP server is also, FastAPI is also up and running. Now the last thing that we are going to do, we are going to create, or we are going to up the Streamlit application. Okay, for that in a similar way, let me go to my folder. So that is the prod MCP. Let me activate my environment, which is there in the path1.test env, because the environment is correct. Now I can do the Streamlit run app. Okay, so it is working fine, but I'm getting this error because this is open in in this Safari. So now let me go back to the Chrome and let me run it. Okay, now here we can see the chat window is up and running. So I have the query is saved here. So let me use this particular query. Okay, here I am going to ask compare the product of Apple. I mean Apple iPhone 15 128 GB black on Amazon and the Flipkart. So let me execute this. Okay, so the execution is progress. Okay, I'm currently unable to access the product details of Amazon and Flipkart due to technical issue. You can check the website directly. Okay, there is some issue with the network. So let me see like if any error that we are getting. Okay, maybe we are getting some error here. So this seems to be fine. So let me try it again. Okay, let me see this time this will work or not. Okay, so I think like there is some issues with the package or in our code. So let me try to debug that. Okay, otherwise it will take some time. Okay. Okay, so I have figured out the problem. The problem is I forgot to install one more packages, that is the Google search result. Okay, to work with SerpAPI we have to install the Google search result. So I have installed that, the package is installed. Then what I have done, I have closed all my applications, then I restarted again. Okay, now we can try it. We will see how this will work. So let me copy here. So let me copy this one. Okay, so this is my MCP agent. Okay, so let me ask this particular query. Okay, so compare the product Apple iPhone 15 and Amazon and the Flipkart. We'll see the result. Okay, so see, this is actually returning the result in a beautiful way. Here we can see available as renewed product. The key features are displayed. Okay, here they are mentioning the price. Okay, initially 7990, 40% discount, and here we can see the Flipkart. Okay, so this is giving more detailed one. Details are also mentioned here, price, everything is mentioned here. The blog here it says conclusion is also providing. So both platforms provide an extensive offering with the ample features. Detail about the iPhone 15, the Amazon include the refurbished option, while the Flipkart highlights the brand new purchases. The prices and the discount opportunities may vary, so it's worth considering the aspect as you compare. Okay, so this giving the details and a comparison report of the iPhone 15. Okay, so here if you go back to our diagram, we can see that what is actually happening. The agent is first calling the Amazon MCP, then it is calling the Flipkart MCP, and it is preparing a comparison report. Okay, so I think that is all about in this video. So please do like and subscribe. Have a nice day. Bye bye.